I love a lot of things about this world. I know it might not seem like it, but I try to look into the good of this world. But I try my best to look at the good things in life. I found the best way to do that was looking back at the past. And the one thing that absolutely fills my heart with joy is Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm a firm believer that if you took everything I'm into and trace it to the origin of that love, you'll find it to be Sonic. Anime, Sonic X, Metal and Rock and Roll, Crush 40, The Opposite Sex, Rouge the Bat. And at the epicenter of this explosion of love, you'll find my first ever hobby with my first ever game that I played, Sonic Adventure DX. This game was the start of it all. This is what got a wide-eyed MrToothy into gaming and pop culture in general. And I can't emphasize enough how influential this game was for me. I played that demo version of the game on a crappy old PC that my dad got for hours. And once I was able to get the full version of this game, I was basically glued to the PC. First thing I do after coming back from school was changing my clothes and then hopping onto the PC to play some Sonic Adventures. Trying to beat Sonic as Tails, going at the speed of sound as Sonic, shooting robots with Gamma, and sucking hard at the Big the Cat levels. But finally, as I 100% all of the characters, I was blown away at the final boss. Fighting Chaos as Super Sonic while the main theme was blasting in the background was probably the hypest moment of a young MrToothy's career. 12-ish years later, and here I am making a video about how much I love Sonic Adventures. Boom, baby, that's one way to transition a video. I'm becoming a professional YouTuber. Obviously, the best part about any Sonic game is Sonic himself. While I might not be a 90s kid, Sonic was and still is the coolest characters I've ever seen. Sure, his totally radical, too cool for school attitude might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I still love it. It's charming as hell. And what started my love for Quippy, is that even a word? Character. I remember I was so obsessed with Sonic the Hedgehog to the point that I thought every show would be 10 times better if we had Sonic and the Hedgehog in it. Yes, I was that dumb, even if it had nothing to do with Sonic the Hedgehog. But I also can't forget Sonic's friends. I thought and still think that Amy is the most annoying thing in existence, but as I played with her, I warmed up to her. I mean, beating giant-ass robots with a hammer that has hearts on it is adorable as hell. And as I found out that you can jump using the hammer if you gain some speed, I was gushing all over that move. Shooting robots with Gamma was cool as well, and his story of saving his friends was heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time. Knuckles at that time was probably my least favorite character. I just didn't like the whole idea of big, strong characters. Thanks to Big Blue over here, I grew fond of fast, agile characters, which many years later led me to main Tracer in Overwatch. See, I told you everything traces back to Sonic. But just like Amy, I warmed up to the right guy eventually. And how can I forget Tails? Motherfucking Tails. I didn't realize it when I grew up, but me and Tails, we kinda share this arc of needing to be dependent on ourselves. Obviously, my arc did not include saving a city from a nuclear explosion, but you know, it's nice to see that Sonic games have some depth. And I always liked how smart Tails is. In general, Tails was the start of my love for smart characters, like Batman. See, I'm not joking, everything links back to Sonic. And Big the Cat, we don't talk about Big the Cat. I mean, he's not bad, I just hated his fishing levels, because they were boring as fuck. Speaking of gameplay, I remember loving the hub world of adventures, and since I was a dumb kid at that time, I didn't know how to progress from stage to stage, but when I finally figured it out, I felt like my third eye was open, and the variety of levels was endless. Sure, there's overlap between characters, but they add some stuff to spice up the gameplay a little bit. Obviously, from the character roster, I loved Sonic's gameplay the most. Going fast through the stages and loops was amazing. Same thing goes to Tails, taking shortcuts to beat Sonic in a race. Using Tails' tail spin to blow up enemies was amazing as well. I didn't like Amy and Knuckles levels because they took away the speed element of the stages, which kinda soured the experience just a tiny bit. Gamma's gameplay was awesome, aiming for multiple enemies and then shooting them was very euphoric. And going through the levels once you got the booster attachment was so fun, I remember. And Big the Cat's levels can go to hell. You also had a variety in the setting of the stages. You had beaches, jungles, Eggman's hideout. Eggman's ship was fucking terrifying, I remember. Inside a volcano, a park, a casino. Yeah, some of these things are not like the others. However, it was all fun and creative locations, something that I feel that Sonic Forces lacked a lot of. What also made these stages iconic was the... Alright, I'm just gonna say it right now, it's one of the best game soundtracks ever made. Don't at me. There's so much love and quality put into every single piece of music written. Obviously, you have the theme for each character, all of the hub world themes, and all the stage themes. They are all iconic, and I used some of them in my videos before. Open Your Heart has to be the theme for my childhood. It is so good. And obviously the creators of this masterpiece of a soundtrack was Crush 40. And it's not their only contribution to the Sonic series, they have made appearances in other games and they're all iconic. Definitely they are the ones that got me into metal and rock and roll. The story of this game is amazing. Yeah, sure, it's nothing deep and thought-provoking, but it doesn't have to be. It's a Sonic game, not fucking Evangelion. It's fun, action-packed, and that contradicts what I just said, but has a tiny level of depth. A small and very brief summary of the story. Eggman found an ancient water god and intends to use it to destroy Times Square and take over the world. Sonic and friends go through their individual adventures and all link up at the finale of this game to fight the water god. Sonic turns super, he gives the water god some brain damage and saves the day. Sweet, short, and most important of all, fun. What makes this story a lot better in my opinion is the writing. Sure, by nowadays standards it's very dated, however I still find it charming as hell. Sonic Adventures is and will always be the perfect Sonic game in my opinion. It has an amazing and likable cast of characters, an awesome soundtrack, and a diverse variety of stages, and most importantly of all, a fun gameplay that I can go back to at any moment in time. And while the Blue Blur might be struggling today to go back to his former glory, it's nice to remember that it wasn't always this way. So that basically is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, and if you did, do the thing, like, sub, all that bullshit. And tell me, what do you think about Sonic Adventures? Have you played it? Have you not played it? Do you have any nostalgic memories with Sonic Adventures? Personally, probably one of my favorite games of all time, even though I was not born during the time the game was made. But yeah, it's very nostalgic and it's very up here. Soft spot. So, like I said, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.